So Lumi, do you wanna start us off with the Pokemon Presents rumors, so we can kind of cover those?
Yeah, well, the first one that would be an actual rumor is, we have some people that, whether you want to consider them credible or not, seem to be implying a new app is coming out during the Presents, or is going to be announced. I guess it may not come out that day. It probably would just be announced and come out later in the year. But no details on it, just literally new app. So, and hypothetically, I guess that hypothetically could be Champions, right? Because that is going to be an app. I don't know. I doubt it, just because that new Champions had already been announced when it was teased.
Yeah, so it's not really a new app from that perspective.
Right, but maybe. Either way, that's kind of the one rumor. But then some other stuff that's kind of implied comes from stuff that's happened this week in the Play Pokemon community.
Oh, sure.
They do regionals.
Before we jump to that, I do. So my kind of read on that coup post that from last month, I think that really might just be something related to the Nintendo Switch app that has been. There's a Nintendo Switch. I guess it's just the Nintendo. Let me pull it up. It's the Nintendo. So I got the Switch too. Yeah, it's the Nintendo Switch app. And on this app, there's all these game-specific services that are that function like apps, like separate apps, that correspond and directly tie into whatever save file you're playing on your Switch 2. Like at Smash Bros, Splatoon 2. I've been using the Zelda Notes app, which has been like, I don't know if you guys have been playing Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, but there's all these additional, it feels like DLC with the Switch 2 edition of Tears of the Kingdom. And I wonder if maybe Ku is suggesting or has heard something that we might see because there is a Legends ZA Switch 2 edition, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if there could be a new app announced for the Switch 2 edition of Legends ZA, where we're able to, like, the way it works in the Zelda Notes app is like you can get they're like audio directions as if you're in your car, right? And it's like, continue northwest, continue southwest, keep going, go down, turn around. Like there's actual like information like that. I got a map that helps me find all these secrets, all these shrines. So I'm thinking about the way I've played that game and imagining a new service for Legends ZA, right? I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking based on how I've been using the Switch 2 this last couple weeks.
I could see it. That honestly, that makes sense. Especially since, like, this, I don't know. It's weird because with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, it's all they've said is like, oh, just enhance visuals, enhance performance or whatever. But like every other game that we also got revealed to like get a Switch 2 version as well as a Switch 1 version, like Metroid and Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, they all have some kind of feature, even if it is something a little smaller, they have something different. So it does make me wonder if there's going to be like something different about the ZA Switch 2.
Yeah, there definitely could be. I guess I'm imagining like, we also have used Rotom quite a bit in Legends, like on all the promotional material for ZA. We've been seeing Rotom as like our primary tool. And what is Rotom? What is the Rotom form other than like an app or whatever, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't. The whole like thing as well is we're not really thinking about Ku's recent track history. Not to. It's funny because I'm like being negative towards it.
I know. I'm readjusting my brain right now.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm just thinking like, it doesn't necessarily have to be in this Presents that is announced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah, it could be
sure.
for something else.
He did post it. I think like a lot of people are kind of assuming it because he posted it 42 minutes after the Presents was announced.
Yeah.
Back in May.
It could be just like its own singular announcement eventually, or it could possibly never happen.
I think
like who knows?
Yeah, but we can't just. I mean, listen, that's not. You're right.
You're right.
Who knows? But yeah, that's not very exciting to just be like, well, it could never happen.
It could never happen.
We got to mentally prepare people. Considered the idea that maybe it could be Rodeo.
Oh damn, dude!
I would cry.
I mean,
I don't think
if it's an app,
the game was like pretty far along. You know what I mean?
To think that a Game Freak game could be an application, that's wild.
Wasn't it planned to be a mobile game?
I think it might have been, yes.
Yeah, yes.
I thought it was planned to be a mobile game.
Maybe, man.
If I remember correctly, I think so.
I could do it.
But that would be incredible.
Yeah. I'm having
Because it was
deja vu.
so far along, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't just like a game that, like, you know, they kind of half mentioned. Like, even in the Terra leak was where we found out about this. We also found out about like a Scrap Z or X2Y2 game, and there's nothing really on that game except some, like, you know, plans.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like really documents. But like, there's photos, there's concept art, there's like not merchandise, but like marketing material for Rodeo.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, that's super suspicious to me.
True.
I feel like I heard that it was a mobile game, but, you know, everything was so jumbled back then that
Yeah, like people in the chat are saying, like, apparently Rodeo became champions, but I don't see how that actually happened.
No, I think
don't
if anything,
think so either.
Two
I think people assumed
completely
that at the
different
time.
things.
yeah,
I think people assumed that at the time because what we knew about Champions was just something called Project Synapse, and we knew nothing about it, and so I think people assumed it. But according to this, this is from Pokémon, it was planned to be a game for both mobile and Switch, like Unite.
Yeah.
But I, again, have to wonder...
that could be coming down the pipeline.
Well, I have to wonder if they're also getting that confused with Synapse.
Yeah.
Because, again, the information was so jumbled then. So
it was very confusing at that point. And now that whole what is it called? The Discord server's gone. So like you can't, unless it's saved somewhere.
What, the Terra Leak Discord server?
Yeah.
Remember Nintendo ninja'd it.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember
it has
that.
been destroyed. So it's not like we can go back and look. Unfortunately, it's all just whatever's been recorded, and then like
I wonder.
you know what? I don't know if that's real or not. Anyway,
I would be thinking that some of the technology that they were working on for Rodeo may have actually made its way into Legends EA with the real-time combat system, you know? Even if it's not the fully fleshed out game, but like the gameplay seems very similar.
Yeah.
Really to the fact that they're just both like real time. Obviously the concept is way different, but there does seem to be like a synergy between the trainer and the Pokemon in Legends.
I could totally see that.
Yep. I want to give a shout out to the Dayman11. They've been a legendary tier member for 10 months. They sent us a message. They said, "Good morning, guys. Was proud to rep my Hidden Power merch at my show recently."
Hey.
Okay, that's awesome. Got to talk about the podcast with a few others because of it. Wait. Your
Let's
show?
Go. What show?
What show?
You playing music?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Got to talk about the podcast with a few others because of it. That's awesome. That's so cool.
If they are who I think they are in our Discord, because, you know, different usernames across platforms, there was someone in our Discord who did post, Deadeye's Art posted about how he wore some merch. I think it was Deadeye's Art, and I'm sorry if it wasn't.
The words at my show sounds like music. If it was on my show would
I think, no, that's someone else.
On my show
the Dayman's someone else.
Like,
oh wait, no. So Deadeye's Art is in here, so it wasn't Deadeye's Art, but there was someone else. Maybe someone else.
Dude, that's cool.
Wore it too. That's crazy, man. We out there.
I just found out our editor Royce, he's coming to Boston. I think he's actually he's in Boston right now, and we're gonna meet up tomorrow. I'm gonna give him some retro HP merch, just stuff I got lying around.
That's awesome.
But I'm stoked to actually see him. I almost met Soul was in Boston. Kedzi Kedzi's on the team. He does our short form videos. He was in Boston. I wasn't able to meet either of you guys, but I'm meeting up with Royce. It's gonna work out, which is cool.
Yeah, it was a layover, so like I don't.
So it's like I'm in Boston, but I'm trapped in an airport. So if you can get through TSA, come find me.
Well, you know what? In Boston, they make you go out of the
really?
At least what I did. They made me go out all the way, and then I had to go back through. I
guess that makes sense because you were international.
It's because I was coming from Europe. Yeah, I was coming from Europe, so I had to like go through passport control and do the whole thing. And then so I was out there, and I'm like, Dusty, I'm out here right now. Yeah. How long does it take you to get here? And at that point, it's like have more than an hour. And honestly, if I did it, I probably would have been in doo-doo. So it was better that I didn't do it.
It's all good. But yeah, I hope that I feel like we kind of had a rocky start to this stream because I had some technical difficulties, but I'm seeing everyone. I'm seeing all the love, and I'm seeing everyone in the chat right now. So I hope everyone's having a great Friday. Man, it's been too long since we did one of these live streams. This is pretty fun. Yeah, so Lumi, set us back up. So Play Pokemon had been kind of teasing. And again, we don't need to do a full recap because we did cover this in our
it's true.
We covered
our video for next week.
Yeah, the video that's coming out on Thursday that we recorded ahead of time. But definitely give us a little bit of I think this is really important for the Pokemon Presents.
Yeah.
This could be something that we're going to be seeing.
The brief gist of it is that they went ahead and announced the next batch of regionals and internationals and stuff for the 2026 season, because obviously Worlds is in August. So once that takes place, season restarts, we go into the 2026 season. And the interesting thing was the material that they used was Mega Evolution Pokemon all over. I mean, you can see in this picture that you've got on the screen now, Dusty, it's Mega Charizard Y on this picture here. And then they even said, get ready for a season of mega proportions. Now, the caveat to this that I immediately want to say is that this is Play Pokemon. So this includes the TCG, Unite, Go, and VGC. And Unite, the TCG soon, and Go all have Mega Evolution in it. VGC does not. So you could make the argument this is all in reference to that. But if you look at this shot here, you've got Wolf Glick, and then they show Mega Charizard X on the same screen. Wolf Glick, I'm sorry, he's not known for TCG, Go, or Unite. He's known for VGC. He's the VGC poster child.
He's known for Incineroar. I mean, if they launched a Mega Incineroar right now, that'd be wild. God.
A lot of people thought it was going to happen because a lot of people kind of speculated Litten would be one of the fire stars.
That would be good. That would be good.
That would have been insane. But anywho, but yeah, so the implication would be that Mega Evolution will also come into VGC.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is that Scarlet and Violet does not have Mega Evolution in it. So you're looking at 3 possible scenarios.
Yeah.
Number 1 is that Scarlet and Violet will get Megas added into it, which I highly doubt.
Yeah.
Because number 2, Pokemon Champions is coming out. We know that game has Terrastol and will have Mega Evolution in it. So this could imply a switch to VGC being on Pokemon Champions instead of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
Or number 3, you could say maybe Legends EA will have a competitive circuit, but I really doubt that just because the last Legends game didn't have player versus player. I doubt, and I don't think they're going to overhaul because it's a totally different battle system. So it seems to me, if I were to place my personal bet on it,
here we go,
that VGC is going to be on Pokemon Champions. And if VGC is going to be on Pokemon Champions, then Pokemon Champions has to start in January. That's when we have to start playing on this game.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then Pokemon Champions has to release in December. And at the absolute latest. So, we've got a Presents here July 22nd. So almost August, you'd be about 4 or 5 months out from a hypothetical Champions release. It would imply that we're going to get Champions news in this Presents, which I think we all kind of thought anyways, but this hammers it a little bit home. And it also hammers home that it could be bigger news than what we're thinking, and this game could be bigger than what we're thinking. If they're going to use this for the mainline competitive circuit, this game is almost like a mainline game, if that's the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Mainline, I mean, it's not a mainline game, but yeah.
It's not a mainline game, but it's closer to it than
it is
really any other spinoff has gotten to it.
It's point. The mainline, because I'm not looking at it like Champion. I'm not looking at it like... Yeah, I guess theoretically Champions is a battle. It's a battle simulator like Stadium or whatever those other ones are called, right? Coliseum,
Battle Revolution,
yeah.
Coliseum.
But
Coliseum and Gale of Darkness were another
But
thing. They're not
that is crazy.
Factored in with the other ones.
I guess
Revolution,
if the
you're right. It's Battle Revolution.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. That is kind of crazy actually. So it's not.
It also would
imply
imply
not a main
Champions...
Pokemon game, but it is the primary or the official battle. I guess it's just the battle simulator,
for the mainline games.
The battle
that's
format.
What I'm saying.
Wow, that's
right.
That is kind of crazy.
And then the thing is too,
and it's
you
by
do have
Game
to
Freak
wonder
because the other ones were never by Game Freak.
Yeah, you have to wonder too if
Pokemon
that's the
works,
case.
So
then it's Pokemon Works, but that's part Game Freak.
Yeah,
but if that's the case for this next season, then you have to wonder: is Champions it for
ever
indefinitely? Sure. You know what I mean? Because hypothetically, you could even because some people would say no, because Gen 10, they're going to want to do Gen 10. No. But hypothetically, whatever new Pokemon or new gimmicks they introduce in Gen 10 could be patched on to Pokemon Champions. And
Yeah.
I mean, we already got the little note in Pokemon Champions that, not all Pokemon will be available at launch, which implies that there will be updates to Champions after launch. So hypothetically, like, this could be our game that VGC is run on for a really long time, which means that this is a game that could see updates for a really long time. It shows the potential scope of this game.
Pokemon Champions basically is positioned to solve all of those issues that we have been ingrained in our minds, right? We all have this impulse to say, well, a new generation's going to come around and they'll need to include something else. And that is a remnant, that is an artifact of the fact that every new Pokemon generation would outclass the previous generation. Champions is removed from that. Champions is on mobile. Champions is like Pokemon Go. It can last 10 years. Champions is the living game that we keep talking about, right?
Yeah.
And actually, what can happen is that now, because the VGC can happen, the competitive can happen, and within Champions, now, listen, this is what we all wanted. The original, the main series generation games, Generation 10, whatever remake comes out next, whatever another Legends game there is, these games can now focus on being games first. RPGs, Pokemon RPGs first, right? I feel like so many of our problems, right, all of the issues, the lack of soul in modern Pokemon games is because each game has to accomplish more than just being a single player RPG. It has to be, it has to be the living game for events. It has to be a battle simulator. It has to be, the host for Hub World. Like, there's so many things that it's trying to do. And I think stripping VGC away from it is honestly, man, I never think about Champions, and then as soon as we come on this show and talk about it, I get pretty excited. I want to shout.
We're always thinking about Champions.
I'm never thinking about Champions.
But Yori also made a good point in our chat too. She talked about how like Champions taking over VGC kind of makes sense because Scarlet and Violet has had some performance issues, and I'm not talking about like the falling through the or any of that stuff, but there's been a lot of disconnects with Scarlet and Violet at major tournaments. In fact, the Yokohama Worlds, which was not last year because that was Honolulu, but the year before, that was that was like miserable. Like, it had so many disconnects in like the top 16. And what happens when you disconnect is a referee will kind of decide how the match is going to go from here. And so a lot of the times they'll say it'll be a first knockout thing. So like, let's say Soul and I are battling. I'm about to win. I'm about to beat Soul. But then all of a sudden our games disconnect. Then they tell us, okay, you guys are running it back, and it's just the first person to get a knockout. And so now Soul could just knock out one of my Pokemon. I might have something a little bit more frail on my team.
No, that's super valid. I would say
uppercut knockout.
I'm curious to know how many of those technical issues will still happen on the Switch 2.